What's up, you guys? Welcome to BigtrainHawaii's YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be doing a little layout tour for you guys, sort of a layout overview, layout update type of video, just to show you guys some progress that has been made on this layout since I started building it back in August. I've been wanting to do a layout tour, layout overview video for quite some time. I just haven't been able to put one together, mainly for the fact there hasn't been any major progress to the layout. But in recent months, I have made a good amount of progress, and the results have been great. The response I've been getting from friends on Instagram has been awesome. You guys really like what I'm doing, and it's just going to continue from there. So everything that you guys see as of now is how the layout is, but there's more work to be done. But for the meantime, I'm going to show you guys what I've been up to, as well as give you guys a little bit of in-depth of detail on what this layout is and what it will be in the future. I will also be covering what I use to power my layout, the command control, as well as talk about the trains that are in this video. I'll also be talking about some future projects, as well as some projects that I have going on as this layout is being built. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. If you guys do, please hit that like button. If you guys can leave a comment down below, that would be great. If you guys aren't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. It's at BigtrainHawaii. And then I'm also on Instagram, so if you guys want to check me out on Instagram, please do. It's at BigtrainHawaii as well. So anyways, let's get on to the layout tour, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. So the layout you guys see here is, overall dimension is an 8-foot by 12-foot layout. It's a wall-to-wall layout in a spare bedroom in my great-grandparents' house. It's a simple double-track main line with one siding and a crossover at the back side of the layout. So the layout began pretty much on the floor in this room. It was pretty much the same when it moved to the table, except that spur was a little different, and I've added a few more things. I started the construction of the tables back in mid-August of 2022. I took a full week off of work so I could start on the bench work. The bench work was all constructed out of 1x4s with 1x2s as well as 1x3s, all in various different lengths. Here are some of my woodworking to get the cross members to fit up for the legs on the vertical supports. The cross bracings were 1x4s with 1x2s screwed and glued together to form an L girder for extra strength on the table so it wouldn't flex. All four of these tables were built in a modular style, so I'm able to disassemble the layouts fairly easy. It was topped off with 5/8 exterior plywood that was screwed and glued, and then topped with 2-inch pink insulation foam to activate as a sound detonator. After that was all said and done, I was able to start laying the track and sort of just getting a feel for it. This back table over here was fairly interesting because I wanted to do something cool with scenery, and I started building a framework for the scenery for it to sit on. So that's one other project coming forth. I used Lionel's Fast Track. It's what I have sort of readily available to me, and it's the most track that I have for a no gauge layout. I didn't really want it to be the bland gray road bed and silver track it was, so I decided to weather it by just dry brushing the ballast black to replicate black cinders and rust coloring the rails. I run 084 curves on the outside and 072 curves on the inside loop. It's a simple double track main line with 2 wide radius curves. The wide curves allowed me to run some of my big steam locomotives, such as my MTH Premier Norfolk and Western Class A, as well as my Lionel Vision Line Class A, and to running my rigid frame steam locomotives such as my Lionel Pennsylvania J1. Another advantage to the wide curves is it allows me to run very long freight and passenger trains on this layout without having them to buckle on the curves as they would have probably on an 027 or 031 layout. Here, my Pennsylvania coal train, headed up by two MTH I-1 decapods, are taking this long coal train around the layout. Another advantage to the wide curves is that I'm able to run my trains at much higher scale speeds, such as 30 to 40 scale miles per hour, such as this passenger train led by an MTH Premier New York Central Mohawk. Or a fast freight headed up by my Lionel Chesapeake and Ohio 284 Berkshire. One of the biggest progresses that I've made to this layout is starting my ground cover to give my fast track a much more realistic look. I found a very cheap way or economical way to lay my ground cover, and that is using play sand that you can find at Home Depot. I'll probably do a separate video on how I got the sand to be this black cinders color in another video, because it's definitely a process, but it is worth it to get the look that you want. And I'm really happy with the results. And it definitely gives my fast track a much more realistic look. One of the biggest projects that I'm going to be undertaking is the construction of my mountains. As of now, this is how the mountain section looks like, but I may tell you a little bit about what I'm trying to accomplish. So the small table you guys saw in the earlier of the video, this is what the scenery was going to look like. I wanted to bring scenery below track level to get some nice low angle shots of the trains traversing the mountain. Over here, this is where I'm starting to build the corner piece of my mountains. All my pieces that I'm making for this mountain are removable, so they're just sitting on top of the layout. But when I start to do scenery, I'm going to be blending them into the table and to the scenery to make it all look one unitized piece. This small little mountain piece right here was to give my trains look like they were going through a mountain cut. When I shoot videos, it looks like the trains are going through this little cut and disappearing off to wherever they're going. The construction of this was all done out of scrap wood I had laying around. The mountains are covered with brown packing paper that you can find readily at Home Depot. It's a good base, Eventually, I will get around to doing much more work on the mountains. And this is the final overview of what the mountain is. I will eventually start to do the major work to it, but in the meantime, I'm real happy with how it looks. So some of the buildings on this layout that I've actually constructed these. These are actually building kits. The first building you guys see here is a Corber warehouse kit. I built this building actually in the pre-layout days when it was still on the floor, and I've detailed it and I've weathered it and I've custom painted it as well. It's the only finished building that I really have on this layout. Next are these 4 Ameritown building kits that I've put together. These kits were also built during the early layout days. I haven't been able to do any major work to them other than the fact of giving them spackling to bring out the mortar, as well as, any other custom detail. I will eventually be getting into more detail on my buildings and weathering them, and then I will eventually build my town in the near future. Next is my MTH Rail King train station. This station here has found its permanent home at the front of the layout. It provides a good backdrop for the trains running at the front. I will eventually get to detailing it, weathering it. I might want to repaint it a different color to match my theme of my layout. But in the meantime, the station is good as it stands, and I'm real happy with it. The layout is command controlled. It is powered by 2 MTH Z1000 power bricks, which feed power to my MTH DCS TIU, which also feeds to my TMCC Power Master. I used the Lionel Cab 1L for my TMCC and Legacy equipped engines, and I used the MTH DCS for my Proto 2, Proto 3 locomotives. If you noticed in this video, majority of my motive power is of the steam era. So you'll find both steam and first generation diesels on this layout. Even majority of my rolling stock and passenger cars are from that same era. So my train collection centers around 5 major railroads. First is the Norfolk and Western Railroad. The Pennsylvania Railroad. The Virginian Railroad. The Chesapeake and Ohio Railroad. And the New York Central Railroad. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this little layout tour, layout overview. as well as sort of a update on where this layout is standing as of now. I will eventually be doing more videos about future projects that I have coming. I also do have some other plans that include building an extension on the layout, but that's way too soon for me to even think about or to even plan on constructing. In the meantime, I'm just going to work on the layout as it sits, and I'm really happy with how this layout is. I want to thank all my friends and family for the support that they have given me for making this layout a dream come true. And all I have to say is thank you guys, and there will be more layout updates and more progress videos in the future. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you all later.